This is why we can't have nice things, people. Not a week goes by that I'm not told at least once or twice in one form or another how funny I am. Like this.
You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Thanks, but my name's not Sully, and you're kind of scaring me right now. More often than not, it actually comes in the form of somebody who disagrees with me on a topic and says, hey, why don't you just stick to what you know and tell your jokes? Or tell us another joke about your kid and be quiet about this topic. We've covered this several times, and it's still pretty rude to say that to a creator online. Just because the majority of their content is jokes about their kids or parenthood, that they don't have opinions on other things, and for you to assume that you can tell them that they're not allowed to talk about that stuff. Look, I get it. 9 times out of 10 when I go on the internet, I'm not looking to engage in a political argument. I'm looking to go to these pages to laugh at some jokes about kids and parenting. Life and being a parent is hard enough as it is. You might be surprised. Despite all the jokes on my page and jokes I make about myself, I'm a fairly intelligent guy. And since I've been deemed so funny and that I can tell what's funny, I can also tell you what's not funny. One thing I think we can all agree on that's not funny is sexism. I know, that was a hell of a left turn right there. But just bear with me, because this is something I think we really need to talk about. This week after practice, the Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton had a very interesting reaction to one of the beat reporter's questions, and it went a little like this.
I know you take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny.
The reporter that asked that question was Jordan Rodriguez, a beat reporter for the Carolina Panthers. For the next 24 hours following those remarks, Cam Newton was under a lot of heavy scrutiny because a lot of people were calling his remarks sexist or his attitude sexist, and I kind of agree. The debate over whether Cam Newton's comments were sexist or not, I think is pretty open and shut. It's what followed that that's really bothering me, because people couldn't just leave it at that Cam Newton made insulting remarks to a female and that Jordan stood up for herself. They had to start digging into Jordan's past, and what did they find? Everybody's favorite thing on the internet, the thing that never goes away, racist tweets. Now before we move on, let me just say I in no way endorse the tweets that Jordan put up, because I find them to be disgusting and horrible. And yes, they were 5 years ago. Yes, I think people can change. But yeah, I still think you should be held accountable for that or have to answer for that. What I do have a problem with is now people are saying that she has no right to claim that she is a victim of sexism, or that Cam Newton's comments were sexist, or somehow his comments are lessened or his actions are lessened because this individual posted racist tweets 5 years ago. That, my friends, is wrong. That's why I like to say that we've become a yeah but nation. What's a yeah but nation? Well, you probably see it every day and don't really realize it. Heck, you might even do it. You probably see it more often than not in political arguments. Someone will say something about the president, and his defenders will say, yeah, but what about Obama? That's when people are trying to deflect by bringing in something to cancel out something else in an argument, as if the two can't coexist at the same time. Like a quarterback making sexist comments to a reporter who happened to make racist tweets 5 years ago. You see, they don't have anything to do with one another. They can coexist, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but is nothing new to women. It's something they face every day of their lives, whether it's at work, out in public, calling a man on the carpet for his actions, parenting, anything that women have to deal with. People always look at their story or hear their words and say, yeah, but, and you know what? That's fucked up. I can't even imagine what that feels like. To live in a space where people are constantly questioning the validity of your actions and your words based on your gender alone, or that you possibly were asking for it, or that you dressed a certain way, or that it's that time of the month. I mean, could you imagine how that must feel? No, you can't, dudes. And it's not just your everyday female who faces this kind of scrutiny. It's every female. Even famous women face this kind of judgment and scrutiny. Recently, hilarious comedian Tig Notaro had a pretty open and public falling out with her idol and mentor, Louis C.K. For those who don't know, Louis C.K. found Notaro and got her career started. But she's even recently accused Louis C.K. of stealing some of her content for a sketch he did on Saturday Night Live. And on top of that, has commented that Louis C.K. is a sexual predator to female comedians, to which Louis C.K. won't respond to. There are a bunch of articles online that paint Louis C.K. as the next Bill Cosby. And while that may be unfair because nobody knows what really happened except for Louis C.K. and the people involved, there are even more articles out there saying that Notaro is just doing this for attention, to drive ratings up. She's backstabbing her mentor, she's making things up, and she's not staying loyal to the guy that created her career. Now, in Notaro's defense, she has never said that Louis C.K. sexually harassed her or did anything inappropriate, but she claims that she knows what's really happened and she knows the people involved and the real story, but won't speak on it. While the accusations against Louis C.K. are troubling, and I hope one day we get some kind of proof so we really know what's going on, I find it even more troubling that people are more quick to look at a woman and say, yeah, but, instead of taking their story at face value. The sad thing is, like I stated earlier, this is nothing new to women. When I was talking about this recently with my wife, she gave me the hardest eye roll. I thought they were going to come out the back of her head. After my wife picked up her eyes and put them back in her head, she went on to explain some things to me that I didn't even think about. Like, for example, like in the workplace, if a guy pushes hard or he steps on people, he's just a hustler. He's trying to move up the ladder. He's working hard to move up the chain and get promoted and be recognized for his hard work. If a woman does that stuff, she's seen either as a bitch or that she slept her way to the top. If a guy gets upset or overly emotional about something, people tend to embrace it. Say the guy's being passionate. Maybe he's a real leader. If a woman's that way, more often than not, people will say, wow, it must be that time of the month. The double standard is even in parenting. If a dad is outside the home working, he's a good dad, he's a provider, working long hours, not spending as much time at home as he should be, but that's because he's providing, keeping the lights on, food on the table. If it's a mom, oh my God, why is she not home with her kids? Why is she working outside the home? Why is she not staying home with her kids? What kind of mom wants to be in the workplace and not be with her kids? She should be at home. And unfortunately, it's even on the flip side. If a dad becomes a stay-at-home parent, it's, wow, look at that dad sacrificing his wants and needs to stay home with the parents, raise the kids. Mom, that's just your job. How fair is that? And of course, how could we forget everybody's favorite? If a guy's been with a lot of women, he's idolized, seen as a stud, he's got game, something to shoot for. If it's a woman, you know the words they're called. I don't really feel like saying them. Sexism, like many other isms, aren't going anywhere anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that we can't work on it. First and foremost, I think we need to stop being a yeah but nation. When people tell us something has happened to them, especially a woman, we need to hear them. We need to listen. We need to support. That's what a true ally is about. Not saying, yeah, but did it really happen that way? Or were you dressed a certain way? Or did you make some kind of comment that maybe gave them the wrong idea? Bottom line is, sexism sucks. And if you perpetuate those kinds of things, you suck too. We all deserve to be treated equally and fairly. And for far too long, women have been treated as second-class citizens and men have been put too high up on a pedestal, and it's time for that shit to stop. And like the shirt says, not because they're somebody's mother, not because they're somebody's daughter, not because they're somebody's sister, because they're somebody. Grow the fuck up.